It's true. I don't give a fuck. It's true.
Oh. Yeah, it's your boy Chef Baker. We back with another video. We got another reaction video. We're gonna be reacting to JJ Redick's podcast. Now listen, a lot of discourse has been going around about free throw shooting when it pertains to, Giannis and Joel Embiid, especially Joel Embiid. Now listen, I get it, right? When it comes to Joel Embiid, people think he flops too much. I get whatever. He tries to draw fouls. In a similar fashion to, James Harden in Houston, right? But ultimately, usually when you get to the playoffs, it kind of corrects itself because, they call less fouls in the playoffs. But anyway, I will admit there is a difference between the way Giannis would get 20 free throws and Joel Embiid would get 20 free throws. Giannis is trying to exert his force to get his 20 free throws more in comparison to Joel Embiid, who is also, he exert his force a little bit too, but not as much as Giannis, whereas he's trying to, draw the foul. He's not trying to get the hoop per se all the time. He's trying to draw the foul in contrast to Giannis, who's trying to get the hoop all the time. Probably, I say about 90%, 95% of the time. He just so happens to get fouled because it's Giannis. So I get that. Like, I'll agree. There is a tendency of Joel Embiid to try to draw fouls. Can it be ugly? Both of them can look ugly. Like watching Giannis shoot 30 free throws and watching Joel Embiid shoot like 25. It could both be ugly. Let's not act like it's not ugly sometimes. Like either way. But anyway, the point is of me ranting about the free throws is that the free throws have been a subject. I think free throws are part of the game. I think drawing a lot of free throws is a skill, and like it is what it is. You gotta get your point somewhere, somehow. You feel me? But yeah, I seen the JJ Redick talk about free throws on TikTok, so I was like, let me go find the video. Here's the video. We're gonna listen to what JJ Redick thinks about the free throw situation in the NBA, and I'm ready to get enlightened. You know what I'm saying? So let's get it.
And rather than just figure out a database that had all this information, I did it manually myself on basketballreference.com. So what's interesting, I'm gonna place obviously all of this in context. I think what's interesting about the complaints around free throws and the way the game is called now. So in the 1980s, the average NBA team, this is the entire decade, 1980 to 1989. Why did I use that? Because that's what I refer to as the modern NBA. That's the rookie year of Larry and Magic, and that's what I consider the sort of nexus point for the modern NBA. So from 1980 to 1989, that decade, the average NBA team shot 29.14 free throws a game.
Okay.
In the 1990s, when the game was super physical and you were allowed to just hold and grab and hand check and everybody got to play through contact and no fouls were called, teams shot 26.83 free throw attempts a game. In the 2000s, 25.1. In the 2010s, 23.3. Are we seeing a trend here? I hope so.
It's starting to decrease.
In the 2020s, the average NBA team shoots 22.7 free throws a game. The Philadelphia 76ers with the king of foul merchanting, Joel Embiid, they lead the league this year with 28
the foul merchant
attempts. In the last 44 NBA seasons, there have only been 4 occasions where the league leader for teams in free throw attempts per game were less than the 76ers at 28. And all of those instances occurred after 2012. Here's what's interesting.
Can you repeat that, my boy? Hold on, repeat that.
Free throws attempts. In the last 44 NBA seasons, there have only been 4 occasions where the league leader for teams in free throw attempts per game were less than the 76ers at 28. And all of those instances occurred after 2012. Here's what's interesting to me. We obviously, prior to 96, 97, don't have the exact, I'm sure there's somebody that's done this on the internet and figured this out approximately, but we don't have the exact pace for teams, pace league-wide, right? We're estimating all of this because we don't have tracking data. We're estimating all of this based on fouls, turnovers, field goal attempts, all that stuff. But in general, the pace in the 90s, which was much slower, average across the league than it is in today's game.
Which is a good point, right? So if the pace was slower back then, but they getting more fouls back then compared to now, where we have more buckets, then how the hell are we getting less free throws in today's age when we got more opportunity for buckets to get fouled than back then? And I already know what people are going to say. Because we shoot more threes. Because we shoot more threes. Back in the day, they had more motherfuckers in the paint. Okay, I get it.
Same can be said for the 2000s, and same could be said for the 2010s. So if there's more possessions and there's less free throw attempts, well, and the rules are in favor of the offensive player, what am I missing here?
That is true.
Why are free throws going down? What am I missing? Now, today's game, we take more threes. I get it. There's potentially less drives. The game was played inside out back then, right? There's more post-ups. You see the Boston Celtics, they'd put their 3 front court players, 2 on one block, 1 on the other block. There's no spacing. I get it. We're pounding the ball inside. It's an interesting data point, all of this. And I'm not saying that those guys were more physical, less physical. I'm just pointing out the fact that in the eras where we were, told that the game was more physical relative to today, they shot more free throws. The point I've always made is that there were more fouls. If that's physicality of the game, then that's fine. But there were fouls were harder, and there were more fights. The fouls were harder, and there were more fights. And it almost looks like the data backs that up to a degree. And of course,
when you bring up the fouls and possessions, we also, you got to bring up the rules. Like, yes, it was physical, not just because of the style of play, because of the rule. Like, part of the physicality was I can hand check people.
We have to factor in the types of shots and the types of plays. I get it. But in today's game, NBA players across the board are shooting less free throws than at any other point in time in the modern NBA. Those are facts.
I'm very glad I could tee you off on that one. That's a good stuff. I appreciate you giving us the preview there. Like, I just feel like it's overblown to a degree when we get into like the physicality talks and the talks of foul merchants and stuff. It makes for good Twitter memes, but like when it comes into actual analysis, to where it feels like guys like Joel Embiid's getting dinged, Trae Young's getting dinged, which Trae is just an interesting case study for this in general. Probably less so now that he's back to making threes at a pretty high clip after a really cold start. But like just kind of baking in, he's shooting this from the field. However, the true shooting percentage is still like 58 in the 58 to 60 range, which is still really good. What do you do with that? And so like I've just had my brain churning on that portion of the program there. So I appreciate you jumpstarting that conversation with me with Eric Gordon.
Well, it's interesting because I also looked some guys up. I didn't go across the board, but I just thought of like players from different eras who scored at a high level. I came into the NBA at 2006, 2007. And I remember my second year, this was like a thing that Stan talked about all 5 years we were in Orlando. It's like when you play against great scorers, there's 3 things that you have to stop them from doing. You have to stop them in transition. You have to get back. No easy layups in transition. You have to be mindful of their cutting. So no easy buckets in the half court off a blind cut.
And don't put them on the
you
line.
have to keep them off the foul line.
Yep.
Great scorers are great because they can hit tough shots. And there's greatness to their offensive game. But they're also great scorers because they get out in transition. LeBron James, Giannis. They're also great scorers because they're great cutters. Dwayne Wade, LeBron James. They're also great scorers because they get to the free throw line. And historically speaking, you go down the board, and Larry Bird, of all the guys I looked up, was like the one outlier on this that didn't take, let's call it in his prime, 6 to 10 free throws a game.
Steph took about
somewhere
6,
in the 4 to 6 range in his prime. Outside of him, Michael Jordan, 7 to 12 free throws a game, except for his Washington years. Kobe Bryant, 6 to 10 free throws a game, except for early when he was not a primary option. And then late, post-injury. Barkley, except for the Houston years and his rookie year, 7 to 12 free throws a game. David Robinson won a scoring title. 8 to 12 free throws a game, except for late in his career when he was, basically the fourth or fifth option. Shaq, of course, Hack a Shaq, 9 to 13 free throws a game. Embiid right now in his prime, with some outliers, of course, early in his career, 8.5 to 12 free throws a game. Durant, 6 to 10 free throws a game. Harden, 7 to 12 free throws a game, except for now and early in his career in OKC prior to Houston. And then, of course, Wilt, who shot 17 free throws a game in some years, but for his career, 10 to 17 free throws a game in his prime. The best players have always shot a lot of free throws. So the foul hunting is interesting to me because I do think there's some of that, and I'll acknowledge that. But what I've always said is, you talk about James Harden and Embiid specifically, Trae Young, I'll throw in that camp as well. Their genius is at drawing fouls. They know the rules. They know how defenses play them. They're going to exploit that. Like, there was, I think it was 16-17 was the last year we had it. Maybe it was 17-18. You think about everybody all of a sudden starts playing drop coverage, right? So if you're a shooter and you know the guy's going over the screen, you stop at the screen and he bumps you as you go into your shooting motion. You got 3 free throws. Like, everybody just exploited that. And
people hated that
shit.
Fans hated that. That's why they changed it.
Harden with the up and under grab. We got rid of that.
Yep.
Joel Embiid is a physical force. He's going to get fouled. Giannis is a physical force. He's going to get fouled. I saw something the other day where Giannis took like 20-something.
Yeah, both of those guys, Giannis and Joel Embiid, are physical forces. But you got to admit, objectively, Giannis does on the court look like the more physical force. The way he goes at the basket to get his fouls in comparison to Joel Embiid, because like you said, Joel Embiid's a master at getting his fouls because he knows how to manipulate and get his fouls. I mean, it is what it is, bro. Free throws are a skill, like I said. It's a goddamn skill.
Throws. And everybody's complaining about it. And then you watch the game, and you're like, well, yeah, they wrapped him up 6 times. They pulled him by the arms 6 times. Like, of course he's going to shoot 20 free throws. Those are fouls.
Oh, Giannis,
Those are fouls. That's the point. That's what makes defense hard. That's what makes defense hard. You have great offensive players. And this is true in any era. You have great offensive players who have an advantage. They will exploit those advantages. And you are faced with a tough choice. Do I not foul? Do I foul? I don't buy this thing that, like, we're hands off. The data I just laid it out for you. I don't buy it. Are there some bad calls? Yeah. There have been historically bad calls in every era.
True.
And yes, I always stick up for this era. It's true. I don't give a fuck. It's true.
Uh-oh. I don't give a what?
It's a drug. And you guys are all high on it.
Tell them how you really feel.
Mission accomplished. That's what I'm talking about. Way to go to Caius.
Oh, man. All right,
man. That was JJ Redick on free throws. As you can see, he don't give two, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't give a damn. Apparently we getting high off nostalgia. But anyway, listen, man, that's the end of the video. We just heard what JJ Redick had to say about free throws. JJ Redick had some good points, right? So drop a comment down below. How do you feel about today's game and the free throws? How you feel about Joel Embiid or Trae Young, etc., being a free throw merchant? Me, myself, personally, I don't give a damn. I'm going to watch basketball regardless. I just want to see great players be great, and I want to see great basketball. Yes, can it be aesthetic? Like, aesthetically, can it be bad sometimes? Sure, whatever. Don't give a damn. I'm going to watch basketball regardless. It is what it is. Free throws are a part of the game. Drawing fouls is a skill. And if you don't want him to shoot all them damn free throws, stop fouling them and stop sending them to the line. It is what it is. So, regardless of the fact, I'm going to keep watching anyway. And I understand free throws are a part of the game. If you're new to the channel, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, like I said, about how you feel about free throws, and we out. Peace.